On. Hello and welcome to Business Insider with Mario Toneguzzi on YYC Business. Joining me today is Keyli Kosiorek, who is Senior Policy Analyst for the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Thanks for joining us today, Keyli.
Thanks, Mario.
Well, we had big announcement obviously yesterday from Premier Jason Kenney in Alberta and Health Minister Tyler Shandro regarding the reopening that we'll start seeing rolling out next week in the province and the easing of many of the restrictions. First of all, in a general sense, Keyli, what is the CFIB's response to what the government has announced?
Yeah, so the plan that was announced yesterday is one of the most comprehensive plans that has been released across the country to date. The plan is quite detailed and provides a clear path forward for businesses. And while businesses are hopeful and appreciate the certainty that the plan provides, they are still cautiously optimistic. We have to remember that small businesses have seen reopening plans before. And unfortunately, we've never made it all the way through one of the plans that the government's presented. So, there's been many businesses, such as those in recreation or entertainment or events, that have been closed for this whole time over the last 14 months and have never had a chance to reopen. So, thankfully, now that we have vaccines, rapid testing available to employers, case counts are trending downwards, that does lend itself to more optimism. Hopefully this time we can see the plan all the way through to normalcy.
Yeah, and I guess that's the big concern, right? As you mentioned, the fact that over the past year or so, how many times have things been open and closed, right? And I guess it gets to the point for many of these small businesses. I don't know if they can a lot of them handle another, say, hopefully not jinxing anything, but if things go astray in July, how many businesses could last another closure?
Right. Small businesses have certainly seen the worst impacts of the pandemic. Right now, we're seeing only 29% of Alberta's small businesses making normal sales. And this is the time when businesses do a lot of their sales. Other than Christmas, summertime is when consumers are out and about and spending money. So we really are hoping that this will get all the way through for businesses to reopen once again.
Okay, super. And I guess that, for many of the businesses that have been hanging on, so to speak, this has got to be, a bit of a lifeline for them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's concerning. In January, we saw 22% of Alberta's small businesses considering closure, and we're up 5 percentage points this month. So we're really on the last little bit of what small businesses have to give in terms to make it through to survival.
Okay, then what I don't know if Keyli, if you have the data in front of you or not, but how many businesses does the CFIB think have closed in the past year in Alberta?
Do you know what? I don't have that number in front of me, but I do know right now it's about 34,000 that are considering closure. So that's quite significant. Still 14 months in. Businesses have kind of gone to all lengths, whether it's, using the federal and provincial support programs, but also dipping into their own retirements and personal savings. And we know that those are dwindling at this point. So it is quite critical that we get to reopening quite soon.
And I guess that's the key, right? Because I know that you folks have sounded the alarm in the past about the increasing debt load of some of these small businesses. And correct me if I'm wrong in my numbers, but I thought that the average was about $170,000 in debt. And for the restaurants, that's even more so, is more than 300,000, right?
Yeah, the number you have is a little bit dated. We actually have a new number that's saying it's closer to 240,000 for the average Alberta business. So it's went up quite significantly in the last little bit here. Alberta is the most in debt in terms of businesses across the country as well. So we are in a pretty tough spot as is.
Why would Alberta, do you think Alberta would be in debt more?
Yeah, so certainly Alberta has had less restrictions in comparison to some provinces. I think of Ontario,
Yeah.
the businesses there are certainly suffering, but Alberta was in a 5-year prolonged recession prior to COVID that
Yeah.
was causing a lot of troubles before this all even started. So unfortunately, we're in last place in terms of debt there.
Okay, super. Last question I have for you, Keyli. You also, I guess the CFIB has a monthly business barometer that comes out. One came out today. What does the business barometer tell you about the mood and the of small businesses in a province right now?
Yeah, so both our 3-month and our 12-month outlook shot up a little bit this month, so that's great to see. We do that survey prior. We did the survey prior to the reopening plan being launched too, so I would expect next month to see even more optimism, and that's certainly great. I think one of the things that we're looking to see as reopening goes forward is consumer confidence as well. Even though restrictions may be lifted, will consumers come flooding back to businesses once again? So that's certainly something we're keeping our eyes on. We are excited that the businesses are excited, but we need to see consumers excited too. So I think it really is the role of the government once the restrictions are lifted, is that they focus on letting consumers know that it's safe to visit businesses once again and encourage everyone to get out once again.
Okay, super. Thanks very much, Keyli, for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you, Mario.
All right, that was Keyli Kosiorek, who is Senior Policy Analyst for the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. This has been Business Insider with Mario Toneguzzi on YYC Business. Thanks for joining us today.